Hi, I'm here with Gary Witts. So Gary, can you tell us what your company does?
Yeah, sure. I'm the Technical Services Director for Data Store 365. We're a pure cloud services organisation, channel focused only. So we have a nationwide partner network of IT resellers that sell our services to their end users.
Can you tell us basically how big cloud storage has actually gotten over this past day and age?
Well, it's massive. We've been in business for 7 years. We originally started purely offering a secure online backup service, but now that's grown to a portfolio of 8 different services, including infrastructure as a service and disaster recovery as a service. So it's, absolutely massive.
So can you tell us how cloud storage itself actually affects the IT infrastructure in a business? Because before, everything used to actually work from desktop, you'd have sort of like the backup process, but now it's actually kind of different, isn't it?
Yeah, I think people are really fed up with having to manage the physical infrastructure. Years ago, people were quite happy to just to put everything they want onto, let's say, a company server and just assume that it will be backed up. Yeah. But now, because of the growth of data, it's become unmanageable, and now it's focusing people's minds actually on the content of the data, not only the volume of the data. Because when people have to pay, for instance, to have their data backed up, then they don't want to be backing up their employees' iPhone data and photographs and holiday snaps and things like that, because they have to pay for it. So, yeah, it's certainly been revolutionised, really.
So, in terms of the cloud services that your company provides, what kind of support do you sort of have additionally? Because you were talking about like supports and backups of systems, and also about like the expanded data networks. So you basically back up entire networks for companies?
Yeah, it ranges from backing up individual folders on a particular server to backing up the whole infrastructure, whether it be physical or virtual. We have lots of different tools in our tool set. We engage with the customer and we choose the appropriate solution for the customer.
Brilliant. So just one more question to basically ask. In terms of like the data stream, does your infrastructure also involve business clientele, or do you actually support like national networks as well? Because I know like a lot of gaming companies now are going into cloud services because they find that's because of the ease of access, and the unlimited loads of data that's actually coming through like the full house of networks, that it's becoming more of a sort of a social benefit rather than just a private one.
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, we're not too concerned about what's actually running on the servers, on the infrastructure that we provide, because we just provide the raw computing power in terms of gigahertz of CPU, gigabytes of RAM, and gigabytes of storage. So what our customers actually decide to do with that is really up to them. But yeah, that's a particularly interesting sector.
Yeah, because it's become like such an expanded network now. It's become more reliant as well, especially in this day and age, that there's so much access going into it. It's becoming basically part of your everyday life now, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a good example is when Grand Theft Auto was released, and they brought the online version off, and of course their servers really couldn't cope with it. But almost certainly, I don't know for sure, but I would imagine almost certainly that is cloud-based somewhere, and all they've done behind the scenes is turn the dial up and ramped up the computing power. But that's one of the advantages of cloud computing.
So in terms of what you guys provide, is it sort of like unlimited access, so companies can have access to no matter how much data they have, or is it sort of an applied package?
It's totally scalable, and it's up to the customer. I mean, we try to discourage customers from actually paying for more resources than they actually need, because it defeats, it goes against the grain really with the whole idea of cloud computing, where you really only pay for what you need, and as you need more, we can just give you more resources and you pay more for the following month.
One last question, is it safe and secure?
Absolutely, 100% secure. The cloud itself covers such a broad spectrum of services. So, some elements of it are more secure than others. For instance, our online backup services, everything is 100% encrypted to military standards. But at the same time, it's entirely up to the customer themselves. And so I don't think you can generalise really about that.
And one word to sum up your company.
Data Store 365, the cloud specialists.
Thank you very much, Gary.
Cheers, mate.
You have a good one.
You too. Cheers.